Well, so now we are going to move on to our final topic of the day, and that is, can MOBAs succeed on consoles? Mitch, what do you think about this?
So, as it stands right now, the straight-up MOBAs that we've seen come to consoles have been kind of lacking. Awesome Knots was a really cool idea in that it took, the 5v5 format, different skills, different heroes, all that stuff, and made it kind of a 2D platformer-style action game. I still think the best instance of a MOBA we've seen on a console was Super Monday Night Combat.
Mm-hmm.
Super Monday Night Combat was the sequel on PC. Monday Night Combat was an XBLA shooter that was like super MOBA influenced, but
before, not before MOBAs, but before
they were really on consoles.
Yes, yeah.
Like those dudes were way ahead of their time. Maybe too far, because I don't know if that game actually did really well.
They got a super version.
Right. And we've seen bits and pieces, but it's not like the console MOBA is a prevalent thing. Guardians of Middle-earth was lacking in a lot of ways. It was a little simple. It had a really cool theme, right? Like Lord of the Rings has this amazing cast, but
and it controlled interestingly. I don't know if it was great, but
not great is the word I would
but it
use.
was in the right direction.
It was good in the sense that, one of the things that I liked about it was that, in MOBAs you generally have 4 abilities, and so on a controller you have 4 buttons that you could press, and that sort of tied in well with one another. But yeah, it wasn't like, it didn't fit exactly or play exactly how I wanted it to, I guess. And what were you going to say?
The problem is that in MOBAs, most of the time you're moving a cursor around and clicking on things, and like that doesn't feel good with a joystick.
Right.
So
the form and function of actually playing a MOBA on PC just doesn't really translate that well to a controller.
Right. Especially in League, where you have so many skill shots where you need to point in a specific direction. In Dota, a lot of times you can like point target and it'll hit the person if you're close enough.
Right.
And like maybe that could work on a controller.
But you could make those gestures so much faster, right? Like if you're going to fire Murano's arrow, you're going to be able to like, hit that button and move your mouse and click in the exact spot you want much more efficiently than you are like positioning it and pointing an arrow on a joystick.
And that precision, when you think about like that skill, it's like a straight line arrow, and if it hits them, it stuns them based on how far it is. That's like really difficult to do.
Yeah.
But like people do it on a keyboard and mouse, but I just can't imagine doing that.
No.
Yeah.
Trying to set up something like that with a
I'm not
controller.
sure.
I feel like it would have to be on a smaller scale, like Awesome Knots, like Guardians of Middle-earth. It's tiny. It's like you can't have large spaces like the jungle where it's just you have places where you can blink into the trees. Like that can't happen.
One MOBA that I really liked recently that wasn't on console was Solstice Arena, which came out for mobile, and it's on
really
Steam
cool.
now too. And I really liked that, but they totally did everything that you're saying. It was a very small map. There was no jungle. It was basically
it's like
your
one lane,
base is
basically.
here, the other base is here, and you have one lane. Yeah, and that was it. And there was a chest in the middle that you could go after, so there was an extra objective. And there were environmental effects, like if you ran through the water, you would go a little bit slower. But that worked really well for me, at least on mobile. And I think that's definitely the right track. It needs to be sort of smaller and not, these wide open maps with jungles and RTS elements and all this other stuff that, things are happening.
It's not a direct translation. And I think what you're going to start seeing, especially this year and next year on consoles, is like Arena of Fate, the Crytek thing that got announced.
Yeah, they just got announced.
Like, from all signs, based on that dumb teaser trailer, that game looks a lot like it might be a very traditional MOBA, but with these very famous heroes like Red Riding Hood and Robin Hood and the Wolf and
Frankenstein.
Nikola Tesla. And like that might work on console, but I think the prevalence of MOBAs on console is going to be seen a lot more in stuff like Evolve, and I've still maintained that Star Wars Battlefront, the DICE game, will be a MOBA.
Yeah, it's keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In that, Evolve it's not directly a MOBA, right? Like, it's a 4v1 shooter where it's like someone plays a monster, 4 people try to hunt it down, and it's not a MOBA because there's no towers or anything, but it's very, very influenced by MOBAs in its hero design, because there's this massive roster of heroes who are very different, who have different relationships with each other based on the weapons and skills they have, which directly tie to who they are. So you're not just like, well, I guess I'll take a sniper rifle this time. It's, no, I'm playing this hero who has these set of skills. And I still maintain that a lot of shooters are going to start bringing these elements into their game, and Battlefront seems prime for that.
What was actually funny is another game that came out last week, Transistor. If you really want, like,
oh my God,
to understand
seriously,
how to play a MOBA and understand like a single-player MOBA experience,
it's like a stop-motion team fight. That game,
yeah, and it's you have 4 skills, and they all have these like you can make sub abilities, but it's crazily influenced by Dota,
big time.
I highly recommend it if you want something that you're like, I don't want to get into the crazy competitive, but I kind of want to see how skills and like positioning is super important in that game as well.
Or if you play a lot of MOBAs and you just want something different, but similar enough to be comfortable, like absolutely play Transistor.
Yes.
Also, just play Transistor. It's really awesome.
Because Greg Kasavin over there is a huge Dota fan.
Yes.
And he's been on like Dota Today. And
Yes.
it's just great that you can see that influence coming to his game and he's doing something different with it.
You can tweet him at Kasavin on Twitter. Tell him to come on our show.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We would love to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly think where people are looking for like the next Call of Duty leveling system, like taking the RPG elements and putting it into shooter, it's going to be the MOBA element. It's going to be the lane game.
Yeah, it's sort of like what makes a MOBA a MOBA?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you think traditional MOBA, 3 lanes, towers, like leveling up a character from nothing to max whatever each time. But like, as you were saying, Evolve, it's just sort of, it's not like there's not lanes, it's not,
No.
but it's just going to take those barest elements of like progression that lasts for 1 round only.
Yeah. I really think that, like, Dota is a game designer's game. It's something that I think designers are going to be playing a lot more of in the very near future if they're not already. And it's just such like a weird, complicated example of how design should and shouldn't be done, because it's like very non-traditional, it's very risky. Dota takes a lot of weird chances, and League too. And as more developers play these games, they're going to start thinking very differently about how they make them, because it's, you know, it's not like they're going to copy and paste, but there are core tenets of this entire genre, and as it evolves, those are changing as well, that are going to start making their way into other games.
Yeah, there are things about Dota that probably shouldn't work on paper. Like the idea of like stacking creeps.
Right.
Like that's so weird. And like
you're breaking the game at a lot of
or-
times, and it's like that's a beneficial way to play.
this match maybe will last an hour, and maybe you'll have a bad start, and the whole hour you'll get rolled, and you won't have any fun. Like what if you pitch that? Like
Yeah,
Yep.
no one. If you came
And
up
you
to
can't
me
quit.
and were like, Leah, I have the best idea for a game. Let me tell you about this. And then you said that to me, I'd be like,
Oh, cool! I'll never play that.
cool, Brian, that was a good idea. And then just like, no.
One of the things I found out this week is I think they've taken it out at this point, but Pudge couldn't use a blink dagger.
right.
For since like original Dota, right? And that
Interesting.
That was crazy. I did not know that. And I was like, I guess it makes sense because he's damaging himself, but it also just he couldn't use it because it crashed the game originally.
Yeah. And then they find that's not even a recent, or that's a very recent update.
Yeah,
it was like
I think it was
6.79 or 6
Yeah.
point or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a few things like Faceless Void and Spirit Breaker can't use Skull Basher because they already have a bash, so they can't stack it.
That's
Yeah, it's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that eventually MOBAs will make their way to consoles and work.
It's
but
inevitable.
I think, yeah,
They're too big.
I mean, Crytek, like we were saying, Arena of Fate is coming to consoles. They've said that it's PC and console games, so we'll have to see, how that one plays out at E3. But I think that you guys are on the right track. That it's more going to be MOBA elements than actual hardcore MOBAs that we see.
Oh, the last one I can think of is the next Respawn game, Titanfall 2 or whatever. Like, we already saw a little bit of, like, the AI
Totally
elements.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Their game's also super influenced by MOBAs.
Yeah, where it's like you level up kind of by, like, killing the creeps.
The grunts that are running around.
And then you get your Titan, and that's kind of your level up. I think they're probably going to take that to, like, the nth level.
It's hard to not, want to incorporate some of these elements when this genre is becoming so huge.
Yeah.
Already there are 14 upcoming MOBAs that I have been looking into recently. Yeah, I mean,
Dawngaten, Infinite Crisis, and the Adventure Time MOBA. Like,
there are so
everything.
many. So it's just
From big publishers too.
yeah, totally. It makes sense.
I mean,
that-
how can you look at League's numbers and Dota's numbers and
not want a piece
some
of
of that? Right.
Exactly. But if you want to check out, the Arena Fate trailer or any of the other MOBAs that we've been talking about on the show today, you can check out all their trailers and more information about them at youtube.com/ign-arena. And I think that'll do it for episode 2.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
we
Not
made
bad,
it.
y'all.
Yay. If you guys want to, write into us, send us some feedback, have any questions for us, you can do so by sending us an email to arena-podcast@ign.com. And make sure that you subscribe because we love you.
We love you so much.
Can we go play Dota?
Yeah, all right.
All right.
All right. Let's go.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.